It has to happen here, and certainly this is a good moment for them, at least in the picture, the grand scheme of things, right? Because if they're able to take a map, or not just a map, but also look solid on Nepal, especially on Village, and then go forward from there, be able to take on this, well, there's a big pick there for Element Mystic. I mean, taking down half, that's not exactly how you want to start things off as you are trying to reincorporate that 3 DPS. Well, you can see the swap now going back over to the old faithful approach, the triple DPS, and Hyuk on the Hammond, as is typically the case with this team.
And we've actually been talking during the breakdown, and Hyuk looked better on the Hammond. Oh, of course he just kind of misses.
We gotta stop saying things because it
I was gonna stop complimenting people. All right, let's go for round 2. Oh, no, that's the roof. All right, but anyway, I was gonna say, he kind of forces rotations Element Mystic that Meta Athena can follow up on, and it seemed to have worked out on maps like Paris. So he'll be going towards the back where Meta Athena now want to spot if Element Mystic's attention has been diverted away. As Inhyuk did go in, but losing already your 2 DPS that were trying to come in through the front, but Athena gonna have to wait this one out.
You can see Sparkle actually just benefiting from this as well, just throwing out a little bit more chip damage, looking for yet another pick, or what could be another pick, onto a Sombra of Meta Athena, not half this time, but perhaps Jasper, after they made their swaps. But as Meta Athena, you can see them playing a very dive-heavy composition, looking to try to dive in onto Element Mystic. But what is your target? I mean, the best possible case scenario is going to be looking for a Doha or trying to put some pressure early onto that front line. But there's no susceptible target for you to dive onto because Unique is in the sky with Sparkle.
There's so much pay potential from Element Mystic that they're getting this time and time again. But maybe working towards these ultimates, that winning condition, EMP Nano Blade, shutting down all those dangerous cooldowns that you're talking about that could hinder Teru, which I had that same doubt while you were having your Windows update about Teru's Genji. And he got like a 3K and something crazy, and he was what kind of allowed that push to go through. So he likes playing Genji into stuff like Roadhog, so good luck to him.
The issue is that now that they are diving in here, they might be able to get something going, but they have to deal with the ultimates from Element Mystic, and they only really have one shot. They're down to 145.
I haven't seen a reflected barrage in quite a while, besides my ranked games, and that's an unlucky pulse bomb. A little present from behind, but Meta Athena now get their first take while Element Mystic have been so distracted they kind of forgot to step back down, coordinating who should be contesting this, as keeping Alpha alive has been Element Mystic's prime goal, but now they've given up ult charge of a EMP from Jasper. Hopefully Element Mystic can get this out early, as the mines now have completely zoned out the point. Element Mystic, it's going to be so hard for them to get back in, especially with an EMP. And that final take will go through, and then Meta Athena should get it.
The issue there was Element Mystic. They had a lot of solid bullies up top, right? That's very difficult to get in there with a Genji, Tracer, you know, and actually provide that damage. But once you do the damage, Element Mystic, it's very difficult for them with just the solo Mercy to be able to stabilize again. So you saw Element Mystic taking those hits, pulse bombs going out, chip damage going in, and Element Mystic, they're not able to regain that health, those health pools very easily without the use of the Valkyrie. And once that goes down, they become very susceptible. So Meta Athena taking value, or finding value in that, now have the ability to go with the Nano Blade, but not when half is slept in the back or hacked in the back.
Yeah, they're getting ready for Nano Blade. Hanbin was hanging around MCD to just make sure he can get a shield bash in case that blade comes in, but getting hit with that pulse bomb, not a good start. Meta Athena being so conservative with their ultimates too. I mean, after that pulse bomb kill, they didn't even have to use the Nano Blade. Of course, half is dead. Still a great fight win to get themselves past halfway to be.
And they've won 2 fights in a row where the blade was ready, but they didn't need it. And now they're going to have the benefit of having Jasper, you know, that given time where he's going to be able to build into an EMP. So if they really need to push it, they could EMP early, then set the tone there, and then be able to counter Doha, have the Nano Blade as just a backup option.
And Hyuk did lay some mines in front of that payload already, denying some space from Element Mystic as the Nano Blade comes in. Terra did get hit by a shield bash, but it can't stop the inevitable. But Athena walking away with that point B.
This has been such a good attack for them. Really, really solid plays. Ultimate rotations have been phenomenal from them as well. They look very much in control, and they're just going to take even more away from Element Mystic here, where You see the EMP versus EMP battle in the next fight, but this is Meta Athena getting free cart progress. Well, at least they should be getting free cart progress.
Yeah.
By being able to push Element Mystic back.
Yeah, they tried to get ahead, and Alpha did go for that pin, but I mean, Inhyuk with on that ball has so much health, they couldn't get that clean win, which even that pig could have allowed Element Mystic just to inch further up. And because Inhyuk is now on the Rhine, it's a Rhine v Rhine matchup, but Alpha is gonna have the shatter. Doha has the EMP, but it's actually Jasper's EMP that comes out first, kind of stopping Alpha. Now he can't shatter along with Doha's EMP. Still getting the same value, pushing Meta Athena back, but now Element Mystic have gotten 0 kills out of that. So, now you've used all your important ultimates. Meta Athena can fight back with their own nano, giving that Rhine advantage to Inhyuk. Alpha goes for a shatter play, catches the Brigand to the back. The barrier's used just in case. But again, you need to take the space, and that grab from Sparkle cleaning things up for Element Mystic.
Good turnaround there for Element Mystic. Clean play as well from Sparkle, waiting for that sound barrier to come out. They knew that they were going to force that if the shatter hit anything. It hit 2, so that's when Name turned around and threw that one out. And you saw the grab come down. Now for Element Mystic, it's all about sound barrier that they have of their own, as well as the EMP that they're building into. Doha is going to be someone that they're relying on in this next fight to be able to shut down Meta Athena. Otherwise, Meta Athena wins another fight, and they move that cart ever further.
Oh, Alpha got hacked. Free shatter. Alpha's actually rotated toward the left instead of the right. Goes for a charge. As the EMP from Doha kind of stopped Meta Athena from falling up into Alpha, and Sparkle with that high energy that he's kept for so long melts Meta Athena on this attack. So consecutive defensive wins for Element Mystic, really just halting all that momentum that they had.
Huge for Sparkle, because as the EMP comes out, shields go down with it, and Sparkle could just generate all of that ult charge. So now they're equalizing again with Damon, where they can go grab for grab, delay the fight. They have the support ult to sustain. Meta Athena simply does not, especially as Half has just swapped over to the Zenyatta.
Yeah, how are they going to get this barrier out of Unique? He's able to hide away from the EMP from Jasper. Buys Element Mystic some time to get ready to force Sparkle's grab in response. But when you have Alpha in your bedroom with a shatter and a hammer, what are you going to do? Well, you hopefully go back to spawn and wish you have another attack. 45 seconds left. It will be their last chance.
Should still be able to go toe-to-toe with the grab to grab combo, or grab versus grab coming in. Damon versus Sparkle, as Element Mystic just have far too many options, and on top of that, Doha is going to be able to get the EMP rather quickly, so he could actually EMP out Meta Athena, open up for the shatter from Alpha, and that's a big shutdown play that Element Mystic could just bank on easily.
I mean, they know that Sparkle has grab, as Jasper's focusing his hacks onto him, so are they going to go grab for grab? They need to pull the trigger first. Sparkle does just that. Meta Athena, it's their last attack. As they do survive it, they throw their own grab from Damon. As Element Mystic holding on. As Doha's dead for this defense. They give up all that space. They know they need all 6 of their men for this EMP play that they're about to set up.
You cannot allow time for Half to get Transcendence online. He'll hide, and he won't get hit by that EMP shatter. Doha going to be going for it here.
Goes for the EMP before Half could have Transcendence. Both Rhines missing, but Element Mystic will get theirs back quicker. But Meta Athena can't give this one up. The Transcendence to try and equalize these picks to go further into Element Mystic's spawn. It's in overtime. Meta Athena would love to finish this, but can they? The EMP play starts maybe some momentum, but just not enough people alive. Damon was pressured back. Maybe had some energy. That was that main damage dealer you needed to keep alive. As now they have Inhyuk back into the picture. He has some supports by his side, but Meta Athena with the barrier trying to take the fight back in their hands, but the respawn advantage for Element Mystic is too strong, and Meta Athena will not finish the map.
Still a lot of progress based off of the fact that they were able to pick Doha, and this has been kind of a trend where we've seen Doha get caught out by Meta Athena. We even saw it all the way back on Nepal, especially on Village, where it took so long for Doha to actually build the EMP, and then finally when it came out, Bash came through as well. And you can see on the replay here where Element Mystic, they were going for that EMP shatter combo, and by basically the virtue of Alpha going down there, Meta Athena was able to restabilize off of the Transcendence and keep it going, just get a little bit more progress for themselves.
And at least Element Mystic were able to go, like, both Rhines died at the start of that fight, which really gave the defense a big advantage because they had that respawn. You know, respawns are so much closer. And again, mild mistakes here and there. Meta Athena had so much momentum coming into C, and just not able, you know, matching ults for ults. Meta Athena couldn't inch forward for several fights at the start of C until we got to this point. They didn't have that much time to experiment. But still winnable. Getting that far, still an accomplishment against such an amazing team. Remember, this is Season 1 champions of Element Mystic, the Showdown champions as well. Still a Titan of Korea, but like I've said at the start of the series, looking a lot more human.
Yeah, I mean, not even just Showdown champions, but I mean, we're talking about a team that straight dominated in Showdown as well. Yeah. Came out with the Doombra and was able to beat down O2 Blast. I think the scoreline was like 7-1 or something like that. By the time all things were said and done. But either way, Element Mystic, like you said, looking certainly, yeah, a lot more human this time around here in Season 2. But this is kind of the same way that they started out in Season 1, a little bit slower, settle into the meta, and then figured things out, turn things around in the playoffs big time as well, where 2-2 rollout kind of thing might be able to help them out as well. We'll have to see. But Meta Athena on the defense now, as they've set themselves, or I guess Element Mystic has kind of set themselves a win condition, finish the map, get the point.
Element Mystic, again, running this solo heal, having a stronger frontline with the D.Va in addition to the whole hook, where MCD has been impressing me with his usage of the whole hog and how he can help create and keep the space that Element Mystic are going for. But Meta Athena with more resources, well, see, this is why I don't talk. This is why I don't talk, because now half gets picked, now it's solo heal to solo heal, mercy to mercy. As Element Mystic set up their shield, look how far they're pushing Meta Athena into a corner. But then you have someone like Teru who goes 2 for 1, trying to equalize things for Meta Athena, who are starting to stabilize. And now hooking Sparkle, that's done. Element Mystic could still walk away with a take and a half, and Alpha's going to be helped back into spawn with that whole hog.
Seems as though Meta Athena might be able to stabilize here, especially with this pick onto MCD. That's big time for Meta Athena, and they back off Element Mystic. Although Element Mystic coming in, still, they have that shield break. I mean, Meta Athena still has to be very worried about this approach that's going to come in from Element Mystic. They're going to be very frontline focused in this next fight, where you're going to see a lot of pressure being exerted onto Antioch's shield instantly. Damon has to be able to counter that with the EMP, lower their shields, and then allow Meta Athena to surge forward.
EMP plus barrage from Teru, not for long actually. 1 for 1, but Element Mystic don't have a shield, and it's maybe not resable. So you can see Doha was still trying to hold on to the high ground, so they can hold on to the space, the little space that they did have, because now they have the house space. Sparkle goes for a barrage with the peel of his D.Va by his side, so even despite not having an Orisa, they were still able to pressure the shields of Meta Athena enough to get all the ticks they need.
Oh, it looks like this is going to inevitably be a cap for Element Mystic. Still playing that triple tank composition. Again, a lot of pressure that's going to go down onto Meta Athena, so they make the swap here. Antioch actually going onto the Hammond, and you can see how Meta Athena, they want to take high ground, knowing full well that Element Mystic don't have too many options to actually take them off of it. But how do you even get up there? Sparkle's just created a little home on top of the saloon here, and it seems like it's going to be so difficult to actually bring him down.
Well, Teru brought him down. We've been talking about how, okay, avoiding that. Wasn't he the Pharah that did that cool concussion blast and still got killed? But it doesn't matter. Teru's been looking way better on the Pharah, and I can't believe I'm saying this against someone like Sparkle. He just cleaned up that whole fight by himself, it seems.
Oh, Meta Athena, seems like they've been able to ward off Element Mystic yet again here, and now they do have full control of the high ground. Now they can actually sit Damon safely up here, and Element Mystic realizes that they can't go Pharah anymore, as that's just going to be far too vulnerable to the sniper play that's coming out from Damon on this Widowmaker. And Alpha dies to the mine. The Venom Mine takes down an Orisa. Don't see that very often. Either way, going with this approach of the Sombra Genji, that's specifically to get this high ground contest going.
Oh, that's so scary when you're running only one heal and Damon has his sights set on you. You almost could have denied that resurrect earlier. But now setting that Genji right after that Widow, trying to just stop Damon, trying to go after their Mercy. Meanwhile, this card is moving pretty steadily. As the Meta Athena have to eventually drop down and stop this, as Element Mystic farming up more ultimates, stopping everything that Meta Athena are throwing at them, including a Hammond, getting rid of that mech from Jasper, that hook! Pretty sick. But that's looking like a good point B approach for Element Mystic.
Yeah, remember, this is their flex support player right now on the Hog, just canceling Meta Athena's DPS players out. And now the last second approach for Meta Athena as they're looking to try to maybe get back into this point.
Even giving Inhyuk the nano, but stuck against the wall from the whole Hog. Terror with a barrage. You believe in the dream, you believe in Terror with the 3K barrages. And now no mercy and nothing left from Element Mystic. Meta Athena stopped the payload exactly where they wanted it.
Yeah, Humvin knew what was going on there. He knew he was getting stalled out. He found the nearest mine and just went for it. Dove on it.
On this.
So Element Mystic now, they don't have the EMP, but they have a minute and a half to get there. Certainly it's going to really just be Sparkle with the blade. If they want to get it soon, they need to basically just send Unique in behind Sparkle with that blade available and just rely on the 30% damage bonus and no damage mitigation to be enough for that blade to claim the kills that they need to get this point captured and in their favor.
And rotating around, oh, you would have liked to dodge that self-destruct. Thankfully he does. The blade still goes in. Unique trying to follow him up, and now Sparkle no dashes due to the hack, but Hanbin gets the job done anyway. So maybe using a few more ultimates than Element Mystic would have wanted, but it's such a far walk from spawn. It would have been a little desperate in the last 50 seconds. The point B earned 2 minutes and 15 to finish this one off.
Yeah, and when you do go with the Valk and you can get that boost onto Sparkle, he's still going to be able to cancel out those 200 HP targets with the 30% damage increase that you're going to get from the Mercy. So that's definitely the play that they wanted to go for there. Smart of them to be able to instigate that early, keep the EMP for later on so that they can maintain momentum as they're going through this third stage of the map. They know that they need that here because they need to win 2 fights in a row to be able to claim this map.
And the swaps of the Ryan 3-2-1, this is gonna work. Now the incoming mines right after the supports. There we go, finished off MCD on that Ana. And the mines completely stopping any follow-up from Element Mystic. In a minute 30, if Meta Athena can cycle these ultimates right of the EMP and then a grab after, they could potentially take a lead here.
So now, Element Mystic here. You can see they've got the EMP, but Meta Athena, they've got Damon at 90% as well. So we could see a little bit of a duel between these two Sombras looking to get aggressive. You see Enyok actually just diving in, already displacing Element Mystic.
Element Mystic, oh, playing so aggressive. Half was really far forward as the Ana as well, and they might not even need the EMP, but Sparkle with 3 somehow accumulated enough energy for Element Mystic again to hold on to this. Now they can go further. 47 seconds left. This last fight territory. If Meta Athena hold this, they take a lead. If Element Mystic win the fight, that box of victory is right there.
Oh, interesting. Named actually going over to the Batiste. And you can see again, it's still going to be that duel between the Sombras that you all also have the worry of the Gravitons that will follow. So value being determined specifically by Doha versus Damon.
Oh, I'm stressed. EMP to EMP. Immortality is so big. Alpha did get hacked, slowing things down. Again, you just do not want to drop any members here, especially if you're Element Mystic. Meta Athena can afford it. Spawns are close. EMP first from the defensive Meta Athena. The grab on top. And now in response, Doha, but the damage is done. Alpha with the 3K, 4K, and more. Alpha sending everyone back to the Shadow Realm. And Meta Athena can't contest. It was so close, yet so far. Element Mystic now take the lead, 2-1.
And that's what you get, of course, when you also have an unpanicked Sombra player there. You can see Damon, everybody started running in at him. You can see how he just got into a panic immediately with Sparkle putting down that pressure. Yeah, he gives his life away for it, but that opens up Doha to make a massive play. Catches, I believe the Immortality Field came out there as well, got hacked, and they were able to kill it off from Named as well. So a huge momentum shift that was caused by Sparkle just diving in for the Sombra player. So really massive play for them to now take the lead 2-1.
And that nano advantage for the Rhine helping Alpha. Even the EMP, the one to thrive through this, but It was close, yet so far Element Mystic up 2-1. We're gonna go to a fourth map. We'll see you guys after this short break. Element Mystic are up 2-1 against Meta Athena, who, even though they're winless this season, speaking of Meta Athena, to take a map off of Element Mystic and to make Hollywood as close as it was, that was fight where anyone could have taken it.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, we look back even further onto Nepal, specifically Village. They take the 100-0, and I believe even on Sanctum it was 199. That could have gone either way as well. So Meta Athena definitely not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. And so far from what we've seen, it seems like, you know, if they are able to play that DPS-centric play style, then they will, and they will have a lot of value because of it, specifically with Teru on this Pharah pick. I mean, he has been phenomenal on this pick specifically. Element Mystic, not really known for playing a lot of snipers, so you may not see all too much of the Widowmaker, the Ashe. You know, the only sniper really that you're expecting is Doha and the Hanzo, but I think Element Mystic have really struggled to be able to deal with Teru on this pick, and this has been a pain point for them throughout the course of this series. So they need to make sure that they lock that down here on Rialto should it come out, which on point A it very well could for Meta Athena.
Yeah, even Damon had some Widowmaker and Ashe showings today. And especially on a map like this, the defense, their snipers are always going to look that much better. It's not that they're better player, they just have more space to play with. They can take so many different angles, and the attacks just have to funnel through as we're kind of guiding through this wonderful map. That hallway, there's not a lot of lines of sight that the attacking sniper can take, so it could be tough. And so far, Element Mystic kind of hovering over that double sniper, but Damon is sporting his Widowmaker, and of course the Widow over the Ashe for that better range. If he wants to play farther back, he can.
And again, this is I think the only issue, I guess you could say, that is present for Element Mystic going into a 2-2-2 role lock split, where you can say maybe they might not have as much of a potent double sniper setup. That could be something that a lot of teams are going to be relying on. I mean, we've already seen how a lot of teams have fallen into that double sniper play. You have the ability to go for the shield break, a lot of pick potential behind the Orisa Hog as well. So that has been something that a lot of teams have gone for, whereas Element Mystic, not really known for pulling that out, but now still going for it here. Sparkle on the Widowmaker, at least to start, and then eventually swap it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what can this guy not play? They probably wanted to see if Teru was poking out into the roof, because didn't he get those initial rocket picks earlier onto other maps? So kind of both Widowmakers popping out of spawn. Sparkle back to the far and knows that the Teru is matching him on that, which would like Sparkle to duel him a little better on that, as Doha will be on the Hanzo. So the Pharah Hanzo setup is what Element Mystic are comfortable with, but that frontline duel, Element Mystic are stronger in that department because they have the Diva, they have 3 tanks there.
You can already see Meta Athena getting value early. They've gotten some picks, but still returning. They have to be able to stabilize. It's just going, you know, 1 for 1. That's not going to help the defense at all.
Yeah, because Meta Athena got shield break first, they hooked in Jasper, I think it was, and I'm surprised he didn't even die. That's why you heard the huh. I wasn't, you know, roasting what you were saying, of course not. But Meta Athena have their shield set up. They have one last recontest. Thankfully, Inhook got his horsey legs working. They hooked an MCD. They get that finish. I think they even threw in the biotic grenade to make sure. And now they're nice and stabilized. And without a Roadhog and, you know, many other members, Element Mystic are gonna have to reset.
And I'm interested to figure out why Element Mystic is going with this the way that they are, where you see actually Doha going off on a rotation far off on a flank. Instead of going for that full shield pressure, you saw Meta Athena. I mean, look at the compositions. Element Mystic should be able to win out the shield trade every single time without fail. There should be no question about that. But Meta Athena won it out early, was able to get that early pick. Otherwise, Element Mystic should have run them right over. So you can see them going for that approach this time around. This is a very smart approach for them now, as they're just looking to solidify this first point.
Element Mystic, it's been feeling like they've been winning the shield war. The heroes say that they should, and now making that space, they have to get Doha off this high ground, or at least Damon should try and win that duel, but he can't. And now Names really can't go for that resurrect. Focus on the Valk to see if he can help Meta Athena hold on to the space, hold on to that point A contest. Can't give it up yet. Element Mystic using that supercharger to just power through the shield battle, even setting the self-destruct over the back, which no far in sight. which I think Teru was hiding in the building. This should be Element Mystic's point A, but Meta Athena just never give up.
And there it is, Sparkle giving his life for it, but at least it looks like they are going to be able to get this first point capped. Now finally getting it, 3:45 on the clock for them now here, after what was a very long and grueling battle for them to steal that one away from Meta Athena, who just wouldn't let it go. And now Meta Athena still on this same composition here, trying to rely on Teru and Damon as best they can. But so far, I think it has really been the space that's been created between Inyok and Jasper, specifically on the Orisa Hog combo, really putting in work, despite Element Mystic's best efforts to try to deny that entirely.
But now you have a Valkyrie and a whole hog possibly from MCD that could come out. This will completely blow away Meta Athena, not only their shield, but everyone else along with it. But they're getting free space. They don't need to use it quite yet, and they hook in Inyok. No Orisa shield for Meta Athena, and what a crucial point. They're halfway to B. And this is going to be so hard for him to come all the way back. No Lucio to help him. So Meta Athena are going to have to hope that they can get picks from the Widow or anything, any hooks. Jasper is there. Inyok comes back as the ball, and that's what he usually does for the last contest, as that whole hog from MCD gets quickly, or sorry, the whole hog from Jasper shuts down his opposition, and somehow Meta Athena stabilized.
Element Mystic, while they are going to be dying here, they're going to invest what they can, because I believe Doha actually does want to go over to the Sombra here. And that's exactly what they're going to do. And the reason being is that Inyok going over to the Hammond, you need something to shut him down. So they're actually going to swap Sparkle as well onto the Genji. That's going to put pressure onto the back line. And then Athena adapting to it as well. But still, that approach from Element Mystic should be able to work here, even with the bunker swap that's coming in from Inyok, actually going over to... oh, maybe going for the barrage combo here with Teru, but not the case. Still, though, Element Mystic need to get around this corner, need to build into this blade as best they can, as fast as they can, because they only have a minute 45 to do it.
Now Element Mystic working up towards those ultimates like you said, but again, throwing that self-destruct behind Inhyuk's shield could be big. He's able to set it up, so they didn't wait for that cooldown, force any bad rotations. Element Mystic now going forward with not only the Valkyrie, but now MCD's whole hog. Teru tries to stop some flankers with the barrage, but Sparkle able to reflect a lot of that and walk away still with that kill onto Damon, who gets resurrected back in. Element Mystic, the supercharger, just trying to power through this, mainly breaking down the shields of Inhyuk. Now he's dead, and he won't be able to provide any defense for Meta Athena, and that fight's pretty dead. Element Mystic will get point B.
Still, Teru has been a menace for them either which way, and you can see how they're just delaying it even further, just trying to play that time bank as much as they can. Element Mystic making a swap here. I imagine MCD would probably make a swap himself, but they're actually sticking to it. They're maintaining here on this pick of the Reinhardt, at least for the time being. And there it is. I think Alpha actually is going back to spawn to swap, and that is exactly the case, as Sparkle's going to do just the same. Meta Athena, though, you can see Mei actually coming out from Damon, and the Blizzard is going to be an issue, I think, for Element Mystic. That's why you saw Sparkle make the swap off of the Genji. So now Meta Athena playing back into that Nepal village style, looking to punish Element Mystic.
There's the EMP from Doha right into Meta Athena. No shield and nothing left. Maybe a bit of an overinvestment. You had Barrage, Self-Destruct, and Whole Hog from Element Mystic thrown into that EMP. And this doesn't even get them to the hardest part of Rialto. That biggest challenge, that raid boss, is coming up in about a second.
53% for Damon already. Teru on the Pharah again here. So Element Mystic, they have no ultimates, and this is really where you got to get a pick early. You got to get that barrage up quickly so that you can deal with Meta Athena. There's the whole hook.
That's a great start from Element Mystic, but they lost Sparkle. Maybe not Resible there for Unique. Holding on to what they have so far. I mean, they're getting all the kills, and I kind of had some doubts. You used a lot of ultimates, but that initial Hall hook that you pointed out, exactly starting that momentum, and you see Sparkle nodding, yes, please, because that's a great time bank that they got, too.
So the Halt hook works out in their favor that time around. I mean, we've seen also how, again, Inyok and Jasper specifically have been very solid, despite actually the triple tank threat that we've been getting from Element Mystic pretty much all the way through. You can see it right there as well. Alpha, Hanbin, and MCD, you have the ability to deny the halts, but Hanbin has been able to catch as many of them. And when you can't, Element Mystic can do this. They can just stampede over you. And that's exactly what we got there.
That Mercy got yoinked back into 3rd grade. You see how she was like around the wall? She got yoinked all the way back. I mean, thank you, replay guy or person, for catching that, because I was sick.
Oh
What's
no.
the thing about 3rd grade, all right?
I'm just like getting flashbacks now, just gold star next to his name being removed or something.
Are we
either
traumatized?
way,
Because I did say mom come pick me up on Paris and
left his lunch at home, wasn't able to. All right, we're gonna focus on the game. We've detracted far too much here. So Element Mystic now, they were able to finish off here with 59 seconds remaining. This is payload, so doesn't matter that it's under a minute, not a big deal. Meta Athena, now we do see that they're going to be going for an attack of their own, and it looks like they are going to be sporting that 2-2-2 composition, or rather the 2-1-3 composition, I guess you could say, as they are going to be going with the triple DPS. We see half swapping, or at least starting with the Sombra, swapping back over to the Ana like we saw them do on Hollywood. Damon now on the Mei, a little bit of adaptations being made by Meta Athena, incorporating that core of the Clockwork Vendetta. Big pick!
yeah, direct too. Could be Resable, but he's keeping his eye on it. You can see Unique is bouncing back and forth, but that Mei wall to also help deny the Halton hooks. Blizzard is great zone control. I'd like to pick it. Could be susceptible to Sparkle and Doha at a distance. Mei Icicle's not having that range problem though. As Meta Athena, with those few couple picks that they did get, Teru winning that Faro duo that we said he's been shining on, they get that free space.
So, we do see Teru, I mean, not only was he able to eliminate Sparkle, but he was able to follow up. And look at all this chip damage he's pushing out. That means that the barrage is going to be available far sooner than I think Element Mystic might be able to anticipate. And if they don't anticipate it, they won't have an answer. They might be caught off guard completely.
Oh, the wall almost from Damon almost stopped Element Mystic from contesting. Just a few inches they're able to get around. And that dragon, bit of space for them. Resurrect in, and that's crucial. You could not lose half at all that early, especially when you're for having more resources. That's what Meta Athena are going to hone in on. As Doha sneaking into the back, and then the freight barrage on top of his forehead. No flanks for you, boy. As Meta Athena inching closer and closer to point A. An Element Mystic losing bodies, but not losing control yet.
Stabilizing with the Valkyrie, but not long enough. Sparkle coming in. That's a 3K. Also taking down the Supercharger, because why not? But now it's Teru's turn, looking to try to open this point up here.
But Teru was chasing Doha. That's why, I mean, Sparkle got away with that barrage before eating the direct, you know, the next day. But still, Element Mystic holding on to that payload exactly where they want it, 0.3 meters away. Meta Athena used kind of a lot of ultimates, but they got some coming up.
Not time for Alpha. We're just going to keep going with these, like, grade school things, but Element Mystic stabilizing here, but they're behind the point, walled off now. Blizzard coming in, looking to lock down the front line of Element Mystic.
And the Dragon use from Doha to stop that follow-up from Meta Athena into that Blizzard. And look, I mean, Element Mystic have barely budged. Yeah, they used 2 or 3. They're losing a lot more. They're bleeding profusely. They need a hospital. There's only 2 left. And Meta Athena will get point A. It's maybe? It's actually pretty close now. Okay, they should get it now.
Still a lot of time taken away from them as Meta Athena sticking to this Mei for the time being. And Element Mystic right now, you can see them holding strong, looking to try to go with this shield break concept that they've really stuck to throughout the course of this series, and we've seen from them in the past as well. But again, this really does rely on that solo heal from Unique, and you can see how they can really struggle once they start taking that chip damage. Teru starts coming into form, and when you have a Pharaoh that's that good, I don't know, Element Mystic, they can't stabilize.
Oh no. See, those are the resurrects you tell me not to go for.
No healing. You have no healing.
I get killed like that. Yeah, that's a very risky resurrect from Unique, eating those directs from Teru. So like you said, no healing for Element Mystic. That's the danger of that, and you can't go for dangerous plays like that. But then Teru cleaning things up on the Pharah, playing almost ground fire. Okay, he had the help with the Supercharger. Meta Athena, though, making good time.
Yeah, that's the issue with Element Mystic's composition here, is that it's very high risk, high reward, where, you know, you are going for that shield break. You can break down the Orisa very quickly, but you have to make sure that you're keeping Unique safe in the back line. So far, that's been a struggle.
Oh, did Blizzard get canceled?
Did they catch it?
Blizzard got canceled.
I think it did.
I think it did. Indeed. Damon. Wow. But I mean, that's sick. That's a sick hook from MCD to stop that from happening. Now Element Mystic with the few pigs. Doha winning that duel against the Ana. Can start to stabilize.
That's huge from them as well, because now it's going to take a lot of time. If Meta Athena needs the Blizzard to win, and surely that can be a win condition for them, but it's going to take the better part of a minute and a half, and that's a big pick there for Sparkle, because that's, again, delaying what will inevitably be what Meta Athena might need to be able to capture that point. So the longer that Damon's out, and you can see him actually swapping as it's nearing a minute 45, he's going to go over to the Tracer instead. But on the Tracer, this is that same approach that we saw in Hollywood, where eventually it worked, but still, what are you going to go for in the Tracer?
Well, because Alpha had to get resurrected by Unique, Sparkle died first, and now Element Mystic had to play so much farther back, and Meta Athena absolutely rolling them over with the Nano Hole. Well, at least a whole hog and a Nano somewhere. Meta Athena, though, get point B. Plenty of time to finish the map, too.
Looks like Damon just trying to finish off a lot of what the chip damage from Teru started. And now that they have a little bit more time, and they're into this final phase of the map where isolation is going to be key, certainly a little bit of protection onto their Orisa player as well. You can see the Mei swap coming in. So while before we saw Damon trying to rush back to the point as quickly as he possibly could just to finish off a couple of kills and get involved in the fight, now back onto the Mei just to get involved here.
A lot of pressure on the Alpha shield from all angles too, especially when they're so far on top of you. So Element Mystic not resable, and now you have MCD. You can not, nope, you can't res that either. So now down your pretty much your whole front line except Hanbin. Element Mystic hope that they can make sure this payload goes as slow as possible, and then make that front line come back. As Alpha walks back in, he dies immediately. The setup was not there. Meta Athena about to walk this payload right in, and the final barrage to say goodbye to Hanbin's mech and his Baby Diva form, and Meta Athena finish with time.
Quite a bit of time as well, so they'll gain, I believe, like an extra second or so as well on the back of that. So it looks like they're going to finish here with a minute 51 to what is the adjusted minute, like 1 second difference of what they actually capped with for Element Mystic. But nonetheless, you can see how this thing closed down, where Alpha went down almost immediately. And again, despite that front-loaded pressure that Element Mystic is supposed to have with his composition, Meta Athena still able to stabilize. You can see those walls helping them out as well. Be able to create isolation, able to ward off a lot of that pressure that Element Mystic is front-loading with at the beginning of all these fights, and that has opened up opportunities for Meta Athena to get ahead, and they're going to be pulling that same composition out here yet again on defense.
But also that Element Mystic just couldn't stop the bleeding, right? Even at the start of point B was kind of the start of disaster. You had Sparkle that got picked, and then Alpha and MCD, before we even started the end of point C Rialto, they got picked, and that kind of made a joke that Alpha coming back into a fire, literally. And then Meta Athena walking that. It should have been way more difficult for Meta Athena to get that. Yeah, this sucks. But 51 seconds. I mean, we've been talking about time makes being so close. Even back on Assault Paris, it was a few second difference. 51 seconds, pretty negligible. Maybe a fight difference. But out the gates, it's going to be the Pharah and the Hanzo, as usual for Element Mystic.
And so we'll start the everlasting hemorrhage for Element Mystic as well, should they take chip damage from Meta Athena. And Terra just looking to get into position to do just that, as Unique is just, he's got the hardest job in the world. I mean, any damage that gets taken, it's your job to make sure that it gets healed back up in a timely fashion. It's so difficult to pull that off. So stalled in the corner here, have to get your tanks forward, and that's going to mean taking damage. So tough call for Element Mystic here.
Oh, the halt hook, the wall to close it off, pulling Doha into death. Is now Element Mystic. Have to take a step back, and oh, okay. Icicle, nice shot, Damon. Very nice.
It's gonna be very difficult now. I mean, they don't have any time left. They get the res, but you can see Meta Athena pressing so close to the Blizzard as well, as they're just looking to freeze that front line, shut them down.
Yeah, you saw Hanbin try to go for the payload touch, got slept and frozen by Damon. actually slowing them down from doing anything. But I mean, there wasn't really much time for them to do anything. And even point A is very hard. With the shield break, takes so much time to get that started. And with that initial pick on the Doha, that hemorrhage you're speaking of, very much happening.
So as Element Mystic, you know, we're going to see them on defense here, and we saw quite a bit, again, of that triple tanks, you know, solo support setup. And I have to question if they're going to be doing that again, because I think that has been the bane of a couple of their fights now, where it looks like they're going to do just that. And they really have to make sure that they keep Unique safe here. Meta Athena, they could go for a composition that looks to really put that pressure down on the front line early, pull Unique into the fight, and then isolate Unique, get that kill early, at least put the pressure on the Unique, where he's then rotating haphazardly, not able to, I mean, you're causing chaos. That's the whole purpose here. Otherwise, Element Mystic, with that pressure that they're going to have on the shield, they're going to have the shield trade, they're going to be able to win that out very easily. But Meta Athena, it seems like they found a way, which is just play it slow, let them win the shield trade. It's fine. Make sure that we stay calm and look for Unique. Try to put that chip damage in with Teru specifically, so that we can actually just get some kills over time and go from there.
There's a good meme that has "this is fine" with a fire.
Yeah.
So I'm think you're maybe more referring to that one. But with that solo heal, Unique can, at least on this defense, can play much more safer, at least as long as the shield comes up and halt hooks don't happen and Damon doesn't icicle you from really far away. But with Damon's wall, they can guarantee these kills to go through. Another halt hook just went in, and Hanbin out of mech. It's starting. This is fine. Everything is fine. Oh, okay. He turned around and tried to deal with the very aggressive mid going on. Still alive and well for the moment, as that payload is getting ever so closer to that box of victory, where Meta Athena about to force the game 5.
That was insane.
Wait, everyone, stop. What is happening? Doha. All right.
You didn't deal with the Hanzo, who's literally just looking down at you, just getting free headshots, claiming kills, and now you see Hanbin coming back on what was typically Sparkle's pick. They have the Doofus just to stall out with, and 40 seconds remain, but the Blizzard is getting so close for Meta Athena.
I'm never gonna hear the end of Reddit if I actually called the game 5, and it's not gonna happen. This is oh, that red text is intimidating. All right, Meta Athena. They have the ultimates. They have the tools. Do they have the power? The Blizzard, the whole hog. Don't usually want to combine those, but the barrage from Teru, he cannot lose this. As the Blizzard now on the field starts his own things on, they push that payload in front of Element Mystic, and there's the game 5. I didn't curse it. Won't be on Reddit today. No. Next guy.
All of that hard work from Doha just amounts to what at the end of it all, right? But either way, game 5, this was such a good approach initially from Meta Athena. Look at the way that they closed this down. They have the tanks locked in as well, but you can see on the kill feed, despite what we see, it's going very much the other direction. And Doha up top, you can see him throwing in that Dragon Strike, still has this vantage point where he can just have these easy headshots, cleaning things up.
Well, proving that the halt hook so strong, but also when you add a Mei to that, just for that extra insurance. We're in a game 5. It's Element Mystic past season champions against winless, or maybe soon to be not, Meta Athena. We're gonna throw it to a quick break. We'll see you guys soon. You might be waking up from a coma and saying, where are my season 1 champions of Element Mystic? Well, they're here in game 5 against Meta Athena, and you were like, what happened? Meta Athena didn't have a win this season, and now they've gone to several game 5s, but our question at the start of the series was, can they close it out?
Yeah, we saw them go game 5 versus Genji, currently 4-0. We saw them go game 5 against Jisoo Busan Wave as well, which is currently in 5th place at 2-2, just as is Element Mystic. But as you said, it's all about being able to close out. They've been in this situation already twice before, and they weren't able to finish the job. However, this is a different, I think, a different storied history between these two teams prior to this. They've been in a game 5 before against each other. Like I mentioned earlier in the series, as we're going to be moving on to Busan to finish things out here in this series, the last time that these two teams saw each other was last Christmas Eve, so 7 or so months ago, where Meta Athena was able to finish the job. We saw them winning out 3-2, winning that final map in what could have been a reverse sweep for Element Mystic should they have won. But now Meta Athena looking to reprise that once again, see if they can get that same thing happening for themselves. But still going to be very difficult. We've seen how they really relied on Teru on the far pick. We're starting here off on Mecha base, and I wonder if Teru is going to be able to have that verticality that he needs to be able to pull off the Pharah.
I think I'm spicy to see some May from Damon. I mean, clearly you're very confident.
3-2-1 May? Okay.
Yeah, definitely something we've seen from Meta Athena. But I don't want to preface this with something bad, but if they don't take this game 5 after losing a game 5 to Gen G, after losing a game 5 to GC Busan Wave, Meta Athena are probably going to be like the opposite of the Fusion Uni curse, where they, like, because of their scoreline, they don't look good, but they've taken so many good teams to a game 5. How
is that the opposite of the Fusion Uni curse? It's like the same thing as what they're cursed with right now, too.
Fusion Uni usually win their game 5s, and now it's
not anymore.
Oh, unlucky, dude. So Meta Athena out the gates, and this is maybe, you know, the last few times they'll get to run this, but Winston 3-3, while as Element Mystic get ready with what they know best, which has been the not triple tank. Hanbin's going to be on the brig. So now having the double support, you know, not as much weight on Unique's shoulders.
The Meta Athena going for the straight 3-3, diving in. You're looking to actually just put the pressure early onto Element Mystic and return fire.
You're kind of surprised that Meta Athena are coming out with the Winston at least approach to this, especially when the Roadhogs is so dangerous. All the damage from Element Mystic is so dangerous. Is Inhyuk going to stay on this? Well, things start to stabilize while he gets back to the party. We'll ponder on this in a bit. Meta Athena managed to get that point. Now they're chasing down Element Mystic.
So Meta Athena, we saw MCD actually get a massive pick early to return fire, but not enough, especially just again with the stability that Meta Athena's comp gives to them to be able to maintain their composure in those fights. And Element Mystic actually swapping up to deal with that specifically. Doha back on the Sombra. It's the 3-2-1 from EM.
Yeah, this will help against that Winston. In control, so much more mobility from Meta Athena, using that bubble to cut off the resources of Element Mystic while trying to dip dive and dodge away from the hacks of Doha, maybe the hammer from Alpha. As Meta Athena on the high ground, Element Mystic now have someone on the point trying to drag down the attention from Meta Athena, who are so focused. And now they've actually rotated someone down. It might have been the Zarya, but now Damon has the grab. And again, a weird rotations from the high ground to the low ground, where Element Mystic, I don't even think they have this figured out yet.
Element Mystic looking to drop, but not before they get a feed on exactly who they need to get onto. I mean, they know that Damon's going to be a threat, and he's playing back point, so it's going to be very difficult to close that gap and be able to get into the Zarya's face. That's their ideal target, and they're just kind of wasting time here. 70% already from Meta Athena. They know they need ultimates to win this fight.
And there's no diva to stop Damon. He can hide all he wants. He's trying to bait them into it, throws it out. MCD is ready with the Transcendence, thankfully in time, as Doha counters with the EMP to stop that follow-up from Meta Athena. Primal still manages to get out from Inhyuk, again, disturbing that formation of Element Mystic, taking as much time as they can. Look, it's almost 90% for Meta Athena, and they're getting more and more picks. This is about deja vu from our first control map, where Meta Athena started off 100-0, and if Element Mystic aren't careful, this is going to be the same scoreline.
Got to step on the point here. It looks like they do manage to do that, so they are going to be able to get that going. They're actually looking to flip it. Doha nowhere close to it. As you see, Meta Athena, they're okay with this. They want to be able to close this fight out, but Element Mystic, they're surrounding them.
Interesting approach from Meta Athena. Element Mystic closed himself in the closet, and Meta Athena still decided to pressure them in there, and that's where Alpha, someone like a Reinhardt, will thrive in those close range quarters.
However, Meta Athena, they may not have the EMP, they may not have the Reinhardt, but they do have a Primal Rage coming up here that could serve to separate Element Mystic out, open up an opportunity for Damon to just rip down some of the members of Element Mystic. But this is the issue here. Sparkle at another grab. He's built up another. He just used it in the last fight.
There's the EMP from Doha hitting most of Meta Athena. Inhyuk with the Primals taking way too much damage. Because now Element Mystic, I mean, didn't even have to use the Shatter. They've gotten enough value from that EMP, maybe not a ton of kills, but the value of just keeping control is what's important.
So now 50% to Element Mystic, and we've seen this before where Element Mystic, they just do not give up control. They start rolling those ultimates and their rotations are just so solid that it's been a struggle for Meta Athena to get back into this fight. Well, now they have some ultimates. They're close to the sound barrier as well that they could rely on to out-sustain Element Mystic.
Grab from Damon, but Transcendence from MCD as Jasper tried to blow them away with the self-destruct. I think maybe something went through to allow that shield to open up from Alpha, and now they're just bleeding profusely after that shield is gone. Meta Athena using that Transcendence just as insurance. They only need to win this fight. And Element Mystic, can they touch? Or is this first round going to go to Meta Athena? There's still a Brig on the point from Hanbin trying to touch. Unique is jumping in there, but this is not the fight that Element Mystic want to take. As although it's not the 100-0 scoreline, one last EMP from Doha says goodbye. As you have Sparkle's famous Doomfist immediately eliminated. As Meta Athena confidently will walk away the first round here at Busan.
That was really, really good from Meta Athena as well. You saw Named come in. I mean, we're talking about a player who, you know, they brought him back onto this roster. He was on it prior, but I think that was such a really good play from them. That right there is exactly why you bring him back, because he is making sure that the only thing that Element Mystic has to be able to get back into that fight is going to be off of the momentum shift that comes from an EMP follow-up. Well, you can't follow up if Named's hiding away, not getting involved in the fight, allowing his team to 5vx, and then comes in with the sound barrier to save the day. That was huge for Meta Athena. They close it out. Now they have the 1-0 lead. It's the advantage if they get this here and now with the triple DPS. I mean, this is the map that they were hoping for. This is the one they're fishing for. They could close it out here and actually go the distance and take a win.
Okay. I don't even know how you get an Orisa pick that early from the Widow. But Inchuk is also one of the better Hammonds I've seen, not only in his zone control. Okay, minus the grapple I kind of cursed on Hollywood, that was a thing. But his mine placements have been causing a lot of trouble for Element Mystic, who are now swapping up their composition. The Sombra 3-2-1 with MCD on the Moirai, who usually goes for that against a poke comp of Meta Athena.
So Meta Athena actually get control before Element Mystic can rotate over to the point and deny that. So now they're going to take the fight on Meta Athena's terms.
Slamming down in here, getting almost everyone so much damage, and the follow-up from Meta Athena as they surround them, not only from the sky, but also from the Widowmaker of Damon. So not even losing control. It almost looks capped if your eyes deceive you, but Element Mystic didn't get anything.
So 20%, I believe. I'm struggling to see it myself. 24% now for Meta Athena.
That's why I had glasses.
Yeah, you're gonna need a special kind. But Damon, he's up top now with that high ground control, and it's going to be very difficult because Element Mystic, they could send two up there, but outside of that, you know, you could see Damon rotate out, Inyok actually rotating over to actually support, so Element Mystic can't really put the pressure onto the Widowmaker. Damon's going to be taking pot shots for free with virtually no contest at all.
But if Element Mystic rotate towards that right side, at least Damon doesn't have as many sight lines as he's... But you're walking into a very narrow corridor with a barrage and mines in your face. So despite that, though, Element Mystic only lost a Brig. Now they can use that Coalescence to not only get extra healing, but force down the Far Mercy from Meta Athena, who just lost that. Valkyrie or not, Meta Athena, I don't think they can take this back.
I think this is just such a difficult process that Element Mystic has basically enabled themselves to be in. Meta Athena, you can see how where Meta Athena, they're going to want Damon up on the high ground or over where you can see him actually with this particular sightline, and what Element Mystic has done to deal with it is try to eliminate that sightline, but that opens up an easy sightline for Teru to start pushing out that pressure. So Element Mystic has to be more aggressive as they are right now.
Self-destruct from Sparkle over the top, making sure the point is clear. Probably someone from Meta Athena is trying to go for that cap. Very, very scrappy though from both sides. As EMP at the ready, Alpha's using a Primal to take advantage of the separated members of Meta Athena. As now things can calm down a little bit, and Element Mystic will try and close the gap in the score.
So Doha now has built the EMP, 40%. They closed it out earlier than prior, but 70%, still a lot to come back from, as MCD has already used the Coalescence, so that's off the table, and Meta Athena completely disengaged from it.
Element Mystic have the cards on the table. The EMP can't lose Alpha here too early. He almost gets mined there. As now they have to disengage back into the point, but they were not able to save Alpha. Even the barrier came too late from Unique, but Doha gets ready to stop the follow-up from Meta Athena with that EMP. This Meta Athena still holding on, trying to get their heal and get their health pools back up, and then they engage with Damon on the Tracer, leading the way. Since now on that Tracer can, well, he wasn't getting the best lines of sights on the Widowmaker. His Element Mystic now playing more towards the point, and this would be better to have the Tracer for the attack.
This is where Teru is actually going to be able to just unleash the damage, but half is under fire. They need to get him healthy, and they do just that.
Oh, this is a fight that never ends, but Element Mystic are losing bodies. And at 90+%, they can happily give this one up. And Meta Athena could easily close the gap in this upcoming fight. They have the ultimates to do so.
And again, Element Mystic, if they go for that same approach as before, you're going to see them going in basically onto the point in that little cubby where, again, Teru can just drive rockets straight onto them. So I think Element Mystic, they want to play aggressively as we see them over the last 2 or 3 fights and really rely on the EMP, but now they're down not only the Coalescence, but a player entirely.
There's such good follow-up between Damon and Teru. The poke damage from both finishing off that first member, and now Alpha is out. It's at 90+% for Meta Athena. They have to go for this EMP. Doha does just that. But now the mites from Inhyuk on the point make it so hard for Element Mystic to maneuver, especially the supports. Still, seems like the numbers are favoring Element Mystic, but Teru, the barrage, I cursed it, getting maybe the 3rd kill. As Meta Athena in Game 5, the overtime goes away in front of Element Mystic's eyes. And the first win from Meta Athena goes against the past season champions of Element Mystic. I can't believe it.
And that, I think, effectively drops Element Mystic into 5th place as well. And remember, there's only 6 spots going into playoffs. So if they dip any more than they really have, then you're talking about a team that not only was able to win out in the playoffs last season, but also dominated Showdown, now kind of on the brink of maybe not even having a playoff spot at all. And Meta Athena, huge turnaround from them. Love the adaptations. Big plays specifically from Teru, I think, has to be the MVP for this game. Massive openings made by Inhyuk as well. Really good synergy on display from a team that was previously 0-4.
First win, I've already said it, in Contenders against Element Mystic. Holy cow. And also that Element Mystic don't have a good, have a very, they have a tough road ahead of them. Element Mystic have Fusion, Uni, and Runaway to go against in their last 2 weeks. So yeah. That's going to be tough. I can't mathematically fathom if it's really possible for them to drop out at this point. But at least Meta Athena making it very possible for them, if they keep this momentum up, to maybe clinch the last spot in playoffs.
Yeah, and you're talking about not only just Runaway, but also a hungry Fusion University. I mean, Fusion University right now sitting at 1-3, barely in the runnings themselves, and you're now going to have to combat them. And you know that they're watching the VODs on this one. You know that they're going to figure out exactly what it took Meta Athena to be able to claim this victory, particularly in a Game 5, as we know Fusion University is very famous for, to be able to see if they could close that one out against this team next week. But certainly, I mean, Meta Athena, they got off on the right foot, barely not being able to squeak this one out here, 100-99 earlier on Nepal, on Sanctum specifically, but hung in there, made sure that they were able to adapt, and the triple DPS compositions wound up just working their way forward, and they were able to get to that Game 5 eventually.
Well, a lot of teams struggle with the DPS because they can't follow up with each other's poke damage. And we saw Teru and Damon on the Tracer and on the Pharah, even on the control maps, really thrive in that case. Element Mystic did put up a better fight on the final control map, but Element Mystic focusing more on having a stronger frontline. They ran a lot of triple tank and single healer, where Meta Athena eventually circled around them, whether they got the pick on the Unique or whether they just won the shield war. Element Mystic might have to think of other strategies.
Yeah, I think that was the worry for Element Mystic. I think that was a huge problem for them, is that eventually what we saw was that the shield war wasn't mattering. Meta Athena was just allowing that to go through, and they were just instead relying on that chip damage, that pressure that was unrelenting to be basically the win condition for them, that they weren't needing to be as lethal as long as they were just basically constantly pushing in that damage, there was no way that Unique was going to be able to out-heal that. You don't have the Moira, you're just relying on the Mercy, and outside of Valkyrie, there's just no way that you're going to be able to deal enough healing to outweigh all of the pressure coming in, and Meta Athena recognized that. Ellen Mystic, on the other hand, seemed to maybe not.
And even in the game 5, I mean, Paris was so incredibly close. Hollywood, on this replay, came down to the last final fight on this particular scene, but this final point, where Meta Athena could have even had a lead at the start. So Element Mystic, I said at the start of the series, looks so human, and to drop a series against a team that haven't won yet, I'm a little concerned with Element Mystic and what road they are taking, going from, you know, beating O2 Blast twice in Showdown and season finals to losing to them, and now losing to Meta Athena. I really hope Element Mystic can get back on their horse and, you know, actually, hopefully, climb back in the next coming weeks.
And now that race as well for playoffs gets even more interesting, because as this game is finished and we see perhaps what can happen with our next one, I mean, we were looking already at basically, we already kind of expected what was going to effectively be the playoff teams, those top 6 already at the end of week 4 going into week 5. But now Meta Athena with a win here, taking down Element Mystic, showing that even the top 6 are human. You can take those players out of the game, where now WGF, if they could do the same, you have to really start worrying if you're GC Busan Wave, if you're Element Mystic, if you're Fusion University, where before it felt like you were very comfortable, maybe not so much anymore, especially for a team like Fusion University, who have been struggling in those game 5 scenarios all season long.
And I mean, you're just seeing some of the Mei plays that Damon was able to pull off, and I love the introduction of the Mei, especially as teams are figuring out the halt hook and introducing the Diva or not, which now in the 2-2-2 lock, I mean, Element Mystic will be forced to not have that third tank, but having that Mei seems to have worked so well for Meta Athena to secure that initial pick, and winning that halt hook war is what got them the advantage so many times against Element Mystic. But we can now leave this behind us. Hopefully Element Mystic will as well, and Meta Athena are probably partying so hard right now. But we have one more party coming up. It's one more Overwatch match of WGS versus Gen G. WGS in last place, Gen G in second. Hey, we saw one upset today. Maybe we'll see another. We're going to throw it to a short break, and when we get back, we'll have another match ready. We'll see you guys soon.